started, I have to say you are my first group that I have used Miro or Miro, depending on who's saying it, before. I'm going to go ahead and I put the link into the chat. And this is just to help people get comfortable with using the tool, but it then also lets me know what are some of the things that are important to you, on what types of tools would be helpful for assisting your customers with reaching their training and employment goals. So if you haven't used it before, you might have to select, there's a little blue arrow over here to the far left. So if you click on that, you can grab one of these sticky, oops, and I just did it without clicking that. Let me just grab one of these and I can pull it over here, and then I can type on the sticky note. So I'll give you just a minute to do that. If this is something that you don't really want to do, but you want to feel or you want to build a comment, then you feel free to comment. You know, use the chat. That's perfectly fine. But this is, I would try this out and try something different and hopefully fun for you. Okay, are you able to type in? Yeah, I see somebody's typing over there. So yeah, cool. Good deal. I see lots of people moving around on the screen. Ease of access. Nice. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. If you haven't ever used this tool just as a side conversation while you're letting me know what tools and features are helpful to you. This is a pretty neat tool. It's, just kind of like a Google Doc. As you can see, lots of people can be, working on the same document at one time. You can use it for like process flows. Um, you can use it for, brainstorming sessions. They have all different types of templates. So it's a pretty neat little tool. So it looks like so far we have ease of access for training providers. Um, and we have lots of people getting used to moving stuff around. And if you double click on it, I guess I should have told you that. I apologize. I gotta find myself here. If I double click on one of the sticky notes, then you can type in a sticky note. Important piece I should have told you about. Okay. So easy to access training providers. Okay, that's good. Good. Just ease of use is like a big one. Use and accessible. So we're going to take a look at tools here in just a second. And uh, I'm glad you said, some of the things that we've been working on are some enhancing some of the tools so that it's more of like an easy drag and drop. So we'll be able to take a look at some of those newer tools that we have that are out there right now. All right. For the sake of time, just looking to see what we got in here. Okay. So that one seems to be the big one. Um, Reduce the number of places or are to access the same information. Okay. Easily access training providers. Okay. Give you a few more seconds here. Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know and good to have you get a little bit used to accessing these tools. We have another icebreaker, which again, it's just a little bit so I get to know a little bit more about your familiarity with some of our existing Illinois WorkNet tools. So again, and what I'd like you to do is take your little arrow that's over here and let me click on it because I always forget to do that. And then you can just drag and drop where you are. You know, I'm like extremely new to Illinois WorkNet, or I'm familiar with reading resources, not so much, a little bit more familiar. I am familiar and I've used the customer support center tools. So you can put your dots where they may go on the, what do you call it? Bullseye. And let me take a look at some of the chat. Okay, so while you're doing that, let me just maybe see what some other people have put in here. Better search capabilities for the entire site. Yes. Um, yes. User-friendly training provider. Okay, yes. Without starting over. Okay. Okay. Right. All kinds of activity going on here. It's kind of fun to see. Right, we'll give everybody just a tad bit more time. All right. Yay. Getting, looks like a little bit more movement, and then we got stars, we got all kinds of good stuff on there. All right. Oop, we got one person. Hold on, hold on. Let me grab it back and I'll just move this back to right about here. All righty. All right, well, that's good. We have a good mixture. We have some people that are really familiar with some of the tools and they've used them before, all the way through people who are new to Illinois WorkNet. So that's good. Good to know. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch back to our PowerPoint. So if you happen to be on the other screen, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going back to the PowerPoint. Um, So today we're going to talk about Illinois WorkNet. And Illinois WorkNet has free tools that are available to, we have three primary audiences. We have individuals, could be full of students, people wanting to find training programs, finding jobs. We have employers who are looking for resources to um, uh, train their staff or find to recruit. And then we have workforce partners who assist both of those types of customers. So these resources are free. We do have more resources that are available if you log in for authenticated users, so that you can save that information. And then for our partners, we have a partner side specifically that provides resources that you can use with your customers. So this is just a real quick, I want to put our menu, or at least a sample of the menu, in the PowerPoint so you had it as a quick reference, but we really will go and take a look at Illinois WorkNet. Excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to looking at this from a customer's perspective. So I am actually, um, I went to illinoisworknet.com, and in this case, I went ahead and already logged in. But I want to go down our menu real quick just to kind of give you a sampling of some of the resources that are available. We have it set up within the menu to basically like walk the person through the process. And so we have exploring careers. And so with each of these menu items, generally they're set up in the same basic way. So the first part is you would have a guide to kind of walk you through some of the resources that are in this particular menu item. We have interactive activities or tools that are available, searches that are available. And then the bottom three items are articles that are related to the tools within this particular menu. We have videos that are related to the tools and information in this menu item, as well as additional resources. So that's true for each of our Explore careers, training, qualifying for jobs is, basically, making sure that you can put yourself out there and show that you are qualified for that job. So we have different tools that are available as well. Jobs for hiring or finding jobs. We have tools for networking, connecting to different services. We have a whole menu item specifically for those individuals that have been laid off. And then kind of our extra area is our updates and help. So we have some, this one's a little bit different. We have, like I said, some of our extra things, but other guides like money management, returning citizens, veterans, youth, success stories. So there's a variety of items in that last menu item. Now we're on our home page. So of course we're going to put some of our uh, main pieces here. So we have, again, employers, job seekers, we have a virtual job fair, and then we highlight training services. You can see we have event calendar, news, all different types of resources, different programs, partners, success stories, social media, and additional articles and tips. So those articles and tips are also spread throughout the site. So I am, as I mentioned before, logged in as a person, an individual. And you can see once I'm logged in, I have some items up here. So I have my dashboard. And I want to just kind of walk through some of the tools that are available in the dashboard. Now, everyone has this one. So whether you're a partner or you're an individual, everybody has the same dashboard. So if you want to see it from the customer's perspective, you can do that straight from the dashboard. Um, Now, again, we have an area for it's not rocket science, but I like to point it out to people. Um, we have a settings area, so if you have a person that needs to, update their profile, maybe they need to update their contact information, but also changing password. So that's a important one to know. As you can see, this password has expired, so they would need to change their password. But then we also have some settings where you can subscribe. So if you wanted to subscribe to specific categories for making sure that you stay up to date on some of the news items that are for those topic areas, you can do that as well. Only WorkNet has a messaging um, piece. I'm just going to open up in a new tab here so that uh, if they'll receive automatic messages from Only WorkNet, as regards to, when they first set up their account or they've updated their password or something like that. But this tool can also be used by partners that are working with a specific set of customers. You can send them messages through their Illinois WorkNet account. So this is an example. You can see this says "Welcome to Illinois WorkNet" and some other test pieces that we've sent out to this particular account, a test account. And you can see that this is an example of um, a message that was sent, from a partner to this test account, and that they have the ability to reply to that message as well. So again, it's just another tool to have to be able to communicate with your customer. We have the career plan. I'm going to open up this in a new tab too so I don't go off my dashboard. Let me probably close out some of these extra tabs. Every person that has an Illinois WorkNet account will have a default Illinois WorkNet career plan. And so you can see we have this little visual here that lets you know kind of how far along they are with that career plan. But we put this out here as one type of tool that's available to help a person just kind of like navigate through or, go through the different resources that are available in Illinois WorkNet. And so when I go into a career plan, this is the customer's view. In the near future, you're going to notice this is going to change color. It's going to look a little bit different, but the tools are going to be the same. We've broken it out so we have it defaults to their plan, goals, and steps. They'll be with the default, we have get a job or work experience, get training, get support, living independently, advancing in your career. So you can see that each of these have show next steps. I can go into this area and you'll see that we have some default steps that are out there. And the idea is that they can see these basic steps that are laid out for exploring careers, exploring training, finding jobs. And we wanted to be able to provide them with direct links to the various resources. So whenever these are default ones, you can see that you can click the button to update the information. But if I can tell this one when I hover over it, this is an article. The resume writing guide, I'll just click on that as an example of a different type of guide that we have in WorkNet. So, they can go through these different resources as well. So we have articles, tools. This one happens to be an article. Uh, see here down here. I think it's under the training piece of it. We have, these different searches that are available. So again, they can go ahead and update the information, put the different due dates in here when they want to start it, when they want to have their goal for completing it. And once they have marked them as started, it'll automatically mark, the status of that particular goal as on track. Okay, so that's one example. While we're here, I'm just going to quickly go over some of the other pieces that are within the career plan because we're going to take a look at those in a little bit more depth on some of the other pieces that we're looking at. Hold on, once I saw some questions come in. Yes, so we'll look at training providers here in a second. When accessing a tool like Resume, is there an option to request live help? Um, we don't have live help for the resume writing assistance. I mean, I would assume that's something that you could probably set up on your end, just using a mechanism like Zoom or Teams or something like that, um, to walk them through. Get online and kind of walk them through using that resume builder. That might be an option. Okay, so just real quickly, we do have a skills and interest area, which brings all of their assessment information into one key area. They can update their goals. So if they want to say, okay, well, I really want to go into hospitality and tourism, we'll say when somebody wants to be a baseball player, why not? Or a camp counselor. You can update the information and you can see it updates it in their desired career path. So there are areas that they can update in here, but then it pulls in all their assessment information to one place. We looked at plan, goals, and steps. If we look at accomplishments, this pulls in, like the different services they've completed, or if they've earned any particular credentials, completed a certain set of goals. Those will appear in this area. And then We also, again, bring in that resume builder tool because we want to remind people that when you have a new accomplishment, it would be a great opportunity for you to just go ahead and update your resume. So we bring that in to this piece as well. We have a spot for job leads. So we bring in different articles and tips. Um, we have the Illinois WorkNet Job Finder tool that's available. We have Illinois Job Link that's available. And then we have our virtual job fairs. So again, we're trying to pull all those resources into one place so that you can find, depending on your navigation style, it provides different ways for you to access that information. If I go to the job finder and I'm just going to uh, let's find one that maybe will say about water customer service representative. That looks like a name we should remember. Let me go ahead and go back, and I just want to refresh this page. You'll see that when I bookmark that item and the page is refreshed, you'll see that I have that particular uh, job bookmark. So put a pin in that reminder for your reminder. So when we look at some other tools, I'll show you where that will show up again in other areas. Okay. And then we also have an update log. So uh, the customer can come here in here at any time and they can see, when they have updated information and what's going on with their career plan. Okay. So it's a high level overview of the career plan. The next area that we have is our Employment 101 guide. So I'm just going to I'm showing you a couple of different tools that are available for helping customers walk through that process. Like I said, we have different guides, Employment 101, career plan. There's lots of different tools that you can use. The idea would be for you to pick out what works best with your clientele and your situation, like how you're presenting the information. Um, so what you're seeing now is we've recently updated Employment 101, and the idea was to make it more interactive and to also build out another set of career tools. So this particular, what you're seeing now is in soft launch, and we're doing usability studies to get additional feedback. So you might see some changes to these, but this is just a quick overview of what's available. So with our guide, it's broken into three basic areas: prepare a career plan, job search plan, achieve your goals. And if you're already familiar with Employment 101, you'll know that those are the same basic areas that were there before, and a lot of the same basic information, some additional information, and it's really about more of the way it's displayed and how the person navigates through the tools. So you can see overall progress for this specific example. I can go directly to explore careers. Now, I noticed that in the icebreaker, you mentioned, well, I don't want to have to like restart over again. So you can see where you left off with explore careers. So if I just wanted to go with explore training, not a problem. I can just go straight to explore training and I can go through these different pieces and parts of information. We have little flip cards, so you can look through um, each of these areas and move on to the next step. You can explore. So this is one example people have been asking about exploring training programs. So we have Explore WIOA approved training programs. That's a tool that's available within Illinois WorkNet. We have a variety of ways you can search by training programs, providers, so forth. You can see this area. Again, this information is going through a revamping process too, so don't be surprised if you see some more changes, but they'll be for the good, and we'll also be collecting feedback from our users too. So Again, you can see the different search filters. For this particular tool, you can compare up to 3 different of options right next to each other. You can see that it bubbles up the cost, week, the time, the goal, what type of training it is, and then also WIOA performance information for people that have been um, in that particular training program. You can see it has average wage, average wage. So that's a tool that you can use. Well, let me see one if I can find one with just a little bit different name so I can identify it real easily. We'll go with 240 hours because I don't think I have that one on my list. You can see I can bookmark that and I can look at the different resources. You can see the cost, other information. So that's a tool. I can mark it as complete and move on. Um, and then you can, it talks about, reviewing the training programs. And I guess my whole point for kind of going through this is to show you that the whole goal is to make this more interactive instead of simply just reading an article. And this information is, again, being gone through by uh, other people that are providing this type of tool or using this type of tool in their programs. Okay. We also have, so that's Employment 101. As part of, let me close out some of these. As part of Employment 101, there's a pre-assessment that's associated with it and a post-assessment. And once they score, I believe it's 80% or higher, then they can download a certificate of completion. Let's see here. And Molly, if there's anything that you see in the chat that I should address at the moment, then please let me know.
Yeah, no problem. I'll keep you updated. We did get a question a few minutes ago that in one of yesterday's sessions, an elevator speak was discussed. Does WorkNet still have examples and or assistance on how to do that elevator speak?
I just saw it in our um, career plan. I'm sure I know we have it. Here we go. I just say the easiest way because I just ran across it here a second ago when I was scanning through. So it would be in our article. Right now, where did I see it? Putting together an elevator speech. And then so we have it with the whole area of get a job and work experience. And we have it with the networking connect. Find a mentor. Oh, I don't for general articles. Let me double check on that because the only thing I think of is if we updated that article and changed it. But let me put a note on that. Let me get a notepad out real quick. And I will have I'll follow up with our content manager to make sure we still have that article available.
Okay. Great. There were a couple other questions. One asked if they could have the direct link to the tool you are using within the WorkNet web tree in the chat.
Okay.
And then someone else asked what the best browser is for using WorkNet.
Okay, so when direct link to the tool that we're using, so are you talking about Employment 101 or are we talking about the career plan or?
They posted it when we were on the last tab. Oh, career planner and resume builder, they just said.
Okay, so you will need to log in order to access those tools. The resume builder, just to show you, well, there's different ways, but we have resumes up here, which will take you to the resume builder. We also have resumes in here, but let me open this in a new tab. And again, I guess this would work just fine. I've never tried it this way, but that's the resume builder. You'd have to log in. I've never just tried it going through that direct link. And then, oh, the career plan. Oops. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Dashboard. This one, I already have it open. This one's directly related with this customer. So let me see here. Let me just open this in a new tab and see if it'll give me. Yeah, this one has all this extra stuff on here, so it's directly related with this customer. I will give you this link. And I am not 100% sure it'll work. I've not tried it that way. Just go to the dashboard and then go straight to the career plan. Like I said before, you can, especially if a person's maybe working with a DHS youth program, or we have some other apprenticeship programs, youth career programs. Um, they may have different career plans that are very specific. The live assistance question, yes, that's the one that I said that we do not have live assistance, but if you had something that was very specific to your like your resume writing or something like it, if you're working with your customers, I could see having the resume builder up on the screen, and walking through that with them at that time. If you're talking about live assistance for Illinois WorkNet, then yeah, we do have info at illinoisworknet.com, and that is monitored, uh, throughout the days, every day, and then it will be directed to the appropriate person who have your request.
Perfect.
Yeah, I saw a question come in. That's amazing for higher functioning customers. How would this be overwhelming? Oh, so okay. So that's why I'm showing you the different types of tools, because the different your customers, your clientele. And so, like I said, we would have something for the career plan. We have something for employment 101. I'm going to jump around. So I apologize that I wasn't really planning on jumping over to this, but I'll show you anyway, just because that question came up, is that on our homepage, let's say your people that you're working with as a job seeker, we have another type of guide as well. And so you can go through, um, each of these sections, like finding a job. Again, it takes you to some of those interactive tools, networking for success, planning for training, getting qualified, exploring careers. This is really set up, more focused towards the job seeker. And so we have various videos that are available for covering some of those tools as well. We also have, depending on the group, we have a Disability Works that's available of some resources, and uh, again, we have some specific guides that are available for returning citizens, youth. So hopefully those will be helpful. So different ways to access information and set up. So hopefully, we can at least introduce those tools to people. How do we know what is accessible as a log on versus what's readily available for job seekers? So yes, any of these while we're here and we're answering that question. Um, so for exploring careers, so example, if I go to Explore Careers Guide, this is something that's just generally available. All of these items over here in this menu are available without a login. If you need a login, then it's going to really what it's going to do, it's going to tell you about that particular type of tool. And then it says, how can I get started? It tells you how to access those tools that are require a login. So if I want to go to Employment 101, again, it's an article that's going to tell me a little bit about Employment 101 and then how to get started. So pretty much anything in this menu is anyone, you don't have to be logged in to access. It'll tell you what needs to be. But the easier way to think of it, I guess, is if you're saving information, then those types of tools that save information are going to require a login because we have to know who to save the information, you know, with which account. Okay. So Um, then we also have the resume builder, which I'll go ahead and the resume builder uses Optimal Resume, which I believe they're changing their name to Skills First. So if you're familiar with that tool, it's a really nifty tool. It has a lot of functionality. There's a lot to it. And so we do have the guide that's available in WorkNet that really streamlines down like the process for getting started and using the resume builder. But again, depending on their comfort level, some people will get into the resume builder and just, take off and use all the different tools that are available. What's nifty about the resume builder is you can make cover letters, you can make resumes, portfolio, there's interview practicing, 30-second elevator speech, I believe now. They've updated it, and different types of assessments. So there's all different types of tools that are available in there. If you have a customer, I just want to point this out while we're here. If you have a person that says, I already have resume saved, but it's not showing up in my account, that it's saying that I have it checked. It's really light, so I'm not sure if it's coming through on my screen share, but there's a little checkbox here that says I have resume saved. But if you have a person that says, my resumes aren't showing here, and if you click next steps, it says this email address is this, and just to make sure it matches in Optimal Resume, the same as what's in Illinois WorkNet. So once making sure that those um, emails are the same, especially if they happen to change their email, then that'll make that connection because it is a third-party tool. So we'll just go ahead and go to the resume builder for Leanne. And as I mentioned, you can see the different types of uh, tools that are available. You can create resumes. When you create a resume, you give it a test. We're going to call this 428. You can upload a resume, but once you upload the resume, you can't really make any changes to it. So um, I wouldn't recommend it. You can, but I wouldn't recommend it. You can use different samples. And the nice thing about this is if you're working with a specific group of, your group of people, and you have a resume template that you normally use, then and you would like to see it in Optimal Resume, please let us know and we can have it added to this collection that's on Optimal Resume. So you can use that tool within Optimal Resume. We put that out there for people all the time, and not very many people take us up on that offer. So, but we can do it if you're interested. We'll just go with manufacturing. You can select by category. We're going to say entry level, and then you can select a sample. I'm like, this is great. I want to use this sample. And then I can just go in and edit it, just with the WYSIWYG type editor for updating this information. So, and you can, there's each of these areas. So you can go through, and there's a lot more tools that you can use. Um, but that's the basic. So it's the same basic process for letters, portfolios. They have different templates you can use. Same thing with assessments, interviews. I haven't used the creative pitch, but we'll just go ahead and continue on with this. Um, I haven't used it, so I'll have to go back and look at the continue pitch, or using the pitch. But that is a new tool that they have recently added, and the only reason why I pointed that out is it goes along with the 30-second elevator speech. All right. Okay. What is the benefit of using this opposed to Indeed or any other site? Well, one of the things, well, let me go back and I'll show you something just real quick. So we have job search. This would be our bookmarks if we've had some special programs, and oops, the wrong thing, and assessments. So the idea is that we have these different modules for assessments, um, the career plans. And what we do is that information stays with those customers, and then we're able to take it and put it in the different locations to where it's relevant to the work that you're doing at that time. So there's more than one way to get to the same information. We want to bring the information to you. A new area, and hopefully this will partially address the Indeed question. These are our career tools that have been updated, revised. This You're getting one of the first glimpses of this. Again, this is within the soft launch. We're getting feedback, making some changes to this. But this was all part of this Employment 101 release. And so we have an area for comparing careers. So as part of an activity, you could have them as bookmarking those tools. This also goes along with, like I said, Employment 101, where it says bookmark 3, explore, review these different types of careers, and then bookmark them. And so what you can do is say, okay, well, these are nice wages. It looks like the growth is declining. I can look over, oh, if I wanted to be an actor, well, what about a communications specialist? Well, that looks like pretty decent. I'm just going to head and drag and drop and move this one to the top. Then maybe architect, so you can move these uh, different bookmarks up and down to rank them into your favorite at the top. You can click on more details and it takes you to more information about this particular occupation. So we have job facts, so it has an overview, employment outlook, wages and trends, skills and trainings related to your interests, knowledge, skills and abilities that are related for this particular occupation, helpful high school courses, things you can do to prepare, any licensing or certifications that are required, and then some various training programs that could be offered that offer this a program that would get you to this type of job. And then physical demands, what's required for the job, working conditions, the Illinois WorkNet Job Finder, which is powered by Indeed, and then similar jobs and other videos. So you can, that's the basic information that is for each of our uh, career compare careers. As you go through the activities and you have people that are exploring different types of training programs, we have compare training. So as I mentioned before, that section, the training providers, is going to be updated. So you'll see some changes in the relatively near future for that area. But as we do that, then we'll do more building out each of these we call cards, um, so that you can see more of that same type of information that comes up for careers. So again, these are drag and drop. I could move these all around. You'll notice that I think it was the one I just bookmarked earlier was the 240-hour CDL program. That was one I just bookmarked. So as you bookmark these items, they're just going to continue to build out in these tools. Um, I showed you that earlier. We have the job search finder. Let me go here. Let me just open it up in a new tab. The job search finder is powered by Indeed. And so, like I said, you can bookmark this information. Let's do hospital scheduler. Why not? And then let me just refresh this page real quick. And you'll see that I have my hospital scheduler right here. So I say, okay, well, that's the one I'm most interested in. And I have applied. So I can move it over here and it's going to update and say I have an application date. I can edit this particular area. We have the job title, URL. I'm in application, um, status. I sent in my, uh, I applied for the job, I should say. You can put, when it was posted, company name, address, and, the basic information. Did you send a thank you letter, email? So this is just like the standard job search card that's available, and it will be updated as you move it through the system. So like, okay, well, I sent in my application and I have an interview. Then you can see that now my interview date is here. I can move it to follow-up date. So you can easily drag and drop, or you can open up each of these cards and then update the information. So this is a new item that we have. Another new item that we have is the notes section, where uh, you can say, do this and do this note, and then save it. And then I can keep my notes here of the different things that um, I need to remember. So you can have this all into one place. As I mentioned, these tools are new, and you will be able to, it's not available right this minute for everyone to see on the on the partner side, but you will be able to have a view of these types of notes. So um, that's why I say I'm addressing the question about Indeed, is that if you're working with a partner or a career advisor, they'll be able to see where you are in this process of finding a job. They'll also be able to see your resumes and that sort of thing to be able to provide feedback. And so we'll cover that in the second half of this workshop. So I just looked at my time, and um, we're in the Q&A section of time. I know I've been kind of addressing some of those questions as we go along. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Wait, if I can find it here. And I'm going to go to our next Miro activity. In the meantime, while we're going through this process, Molly, if you would just let me know if there are questions that I did not address, and I can do that. So while we're getting to this page also, it's the same basic thing. That's why we did the icebreaker activities. Go ahead and select your little blue arrow and you can say, I am definitely going to use this, or I plan to use this type of tool. So Molly, were there other things that I just straight up missed?
There was one. I'm going up. It was the one about which browser is best for WorkNet.
We support Chrome and Firefox and Safari. At the bottom of Illinois WorkNet, while y'all are working on that, we have system requirements. Chrome, Edge, Firefox, this is going away. So we're getting rid of Internet Explorer 11. For some reason, when I updated Edge on my computer, I can't get Edge to even work on my computer anymore. So I always use Firefox and Chrome. But that's because I literally can't get Edge to work on my computer at all. It won't even come up. So, but we do test in these different browsers. But like I said, Internet Explorer, we're not doing that. It's going away. I can't remember the date. It might have already gone away.
Okay. And then there was one more question of how data is captured on completion and who is responsible for submission.
I'm assuming that you're talking about Employment 101. Maybe.
I'm guessing if the person who asked that wanted to specify in the chat, that would be great. But I'm assuming so as well.
So within employment, I'll just quick, talk to that a little bit. So with Employment 101, what we really wanted to do was build in that automatic completion piece of it. And so that was one of the issues. Well, it wasn't, I don't know if it was an issue, but it would have been a nice to have that automatically identify when a section of Employment 101 was completed. So where we can do that and we can detect that has been completed in the system, we can automatically mark it as complete. So let's say that you have 3 bookmarks. We could say, oh, well, you have 3 bookmarks, but then, or you have a particular goal that's been added to your career plan or updated. Whenever we can detect that, then we can mark it as complete. Otherwise, it's specified to say when you've done this, mark it as complete. And that's specifically for Employment 101. When it comes to resumes, obviously we don't know that it's complete, but we can detect when you have a resume or a cover letter, portfolio, and those would be available in the second half. We'll take a look at examples of that in the second half of this workshop after our break. And I'm not sure if it came up, did it?
And there was specification that that question was based on students completing the WIOA program, the screen shown earlier in the presentation.
Okay, so the WIOA performance information comes from IWDS, the Federal Reporting System, or the Title I. So we sync up with them. We get that information from IWDS. Is there a way to well, I see one. I'll just answer it real quick. Is there a way to refer partners to Illinois WorkNet uh, through Illinois WorkNet? Technically, there is, but there needs to be more of a systematic process across all the partners that we're referring to. Um, and I'm assuming that maybe one of these people that have participated in some of our other programs, like our EPIC program, where we could do that automatic referral to other partners. So we do have that referral piece in the customer support center, but there needs to be like the bigger picture conversation about, okay, if you send the referral, who's going to receive the referral and do anything with it? So that's to come. That's always been something that's been an item that people have been interested in. Let me go to, I'm just going to go real quick. The other item that came up is there's two ways to get to, um, we have on the homepage where you say find local services. This is our what do we call it, service finder that is defaulted to um, the WIA's, the Illinois WorkNet Center locations. And then you can get to it in a variety of ways. You can get to it from the network and connect. There's an Illinois WorkNet service finder. And then even off of Illinois WorkNet homepage, down here a little bit further, is a service finder. So with the service finder, you can do keyword search, you can do by proximity, and then you can see those listing of Illinois WorkNet partners and select them, and then you can see what types of services they offer. When you download documents created in the system. Okay. So one of the things, the resume builder, I apologize, I did not show you. I don't think I have it open already. Let me just go to resumes real quick. What am I in? Okay, I'm in Natasha now, not our sample person, which is fine. If I go to like clerical, you can download these. And you can download them in a variety of ways as a Word, PDF, HTML, plain text. So you can download that and you can share it. Okay, so that's for one example. As far as the, uh, I'm in my browser here. Let me get back over to my sample person that we had up earlier. We don't have a print button for this, but if that's something that would be helpful, we can definitely talk about that as well. So there are different areas. I guess my answer is there are some areas where you can download, and then there are other areas that maybe you can't download, but if you would like that feature, then please, send a um, comment to info@illinoisworknet.com, and we can most definitely consider something like that. If you're talking about the career plan, there's a download for the career plan. I think there's downloads for different assessments as well, too. Did you address the question about job link? Was there? We do have Illinois Job Link is a tool that's available and free through. We just direct you to that information for Illinois Job Link. Illinois Job Link. So it's not directly integrated, but we do give you information because it is another helpful tool that's available. So we do direct you to that information. Okay, Molly, what else am I forgetting? What I overlook here?
Let's see.
We'll talk about the WIOA applicant stuff. That's be the second half.
Someone asked, can non-WIOA individuals use this site?
Most definitely.
Right. And then can you download documents that are created within the system?
That's the one I was talking about. Some of them, yes.
Okay.
Or if it's like, articles, of course, yes. Content pages, yes. If it's the career plan, yes. The resumes that are developed, yes. If it's some of these other tools that you might be interested in, then, as you run across them, if it doesn't have a print, let us know if that's something that would be useful to you.
Okay. And then the last one I see is, where does the approved training provider and program information come from? Is it auto-populated from IWDS?
Yes, it is.
Great.
Mhm. Alrighty. So we're running a little bit behind, but let me go back to my PowerPoint because y'all get a break. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and use my little Miro tool, and I don't know how this work exactly, but we'll just go ahead and put it in the chat so you can have it up. But I'll put it up here, and we have like a 10-minute break. And so this is kind of nifty with here's me, right? Why is it not letting me? Oh, here we go. What we got going on here? Timer, top timer. Rest. Why is this? All right, we're gonna do this anyway. Stop, cancel, stop, stop timer. There we go. Already wasted a minute. So by the time I get this up, we're gonna give you some sunshine jams and play the music. And so you have 10 minutes. Looks like our time is up for a break, but I love that everybody seems to be having fun with uh, all of the Miro tools. It's been fun to watch. So um, let's start my video again here. All right. I am going to switch back to our, at least for my screen share. I'm going to switch back to our PowerPoint. I'm just going to leave it in this view as long as you can still see it okay. I responded to a few items in chat. I think we'll cover all of these items. We do just so you know also that we do have um, we do address accessibility. I don't know. I've never used. I don't know about accessibility with Miro. That's why I was a little bit nervous about using it for this, but I'm glad I did because it looks like a lot of people are having fun with it. But as far as WorkNet is concerned, we have at the bottom we have our accessibility statement. So it is checked. For accessibility, we have also had some other groups look at some of our newer tools and review them for accessibility, but then also for some of the things such as color blindness and maybe someone that's not fully blind, but um, they have some other types of accessibility needs. So we do our best to make sure that we are compliant and um, making sure that all of our customers can access and use the Illinois WorkNet tools in a way, especially that's not completely annoying. With being able to use the headers to be able to, I think that's how it works. You're using the headers to easily navigate using some of those accessibility tools to help you easily scan a page and move through content. So I hope that addresses some of the comments regarding accessibility. And okay, so let me get back on task. So what we do have is a set of tools that are available to partners. And I'm just going to quickly go through some of these slides because I want you to, first of all, know that some of these screenshots and URLs are available in the PowerPoint. So you can, reference them later because you're getting a lot of information over yesterday and today. And then we'll actually take a look at some of the tools. So we do have a partner guide, and I'll just quickly show you. If you go to WorkNet, click on partners, we have the partner guide, and then in the menu, we have customer support center. And that's what we're going to be focusing on in the second half of our workshop. And you can see we have different online tools and information about those tools. Okay, so with the Customer Support Center, what the Customer Support Center does is it allows you a space within WorkNet so that you can invite your participants, your customers, clients, um, to give you access to view some of their saved results, saved items that are in Illinois WorkNet with the agreement, the intention that you would use that information to help them reach their training and employment goals. So this is probably, I'll go back to the big screen. Um, So again, this might be a little bit harder for you to see, but we're going to actually look at this in the demo. So we have an invitation process, and what that does is it gives us a method to say, okay, Natasha, I'm going to invite Molly. Molly, is it okay if I see your information? Molly says yes, or Molly says no. If Molly says yes, then uh, Molly will appear in my list. Okay, if she says no, obviously she's not going to. So within the customer support center tools, you'll have a variety of tabs that have information that's available and related specifically to that customer. So it's really important that the customer has or uses at least one account. Because let's say you're working with an individual and you say, okay, well, you need to complete your skills and interest inventory. Well, then they do that, and you go into, their information, and you're like, I told you, I thought we agreed you'd have it done by Wednesday. And they say, yeah, I have it. Uh, Probably what happened is they used a different account than what they agreed, whenever they logged in and joined and said it was okay for you to view their information. That's the majority, like 99% of the time, that's the reason why. So just kind of keep that in mind. But you have a view of these different types of resources, which correspond to the view that we just looked at from a customer's view. So you can see they have different look and feel, but it's the same information and it's all associated with that, each individual account. The information stays with the account, that customer's account. So this is an example of the career plan. We looked at the career plan and you saw this view right here. When you look at it from a partner's perspective, it's more of a builder tool for the career plan. The messages tool, we looked at it. I showed you that there was the messages. I showed you how you could see messages. Um, from a partner's perspective, you can send messages and we'll take a look at the different ways you can send messages to the customer. You can send them as an email and or just simply an Illinois WorkNet message. So there's the messaging component. We have the resume builder piece, which I had just mentioned that, in your resume builder, they go directly into the resume builder and they can edit and, do everything that they have access to in their own resume builder. You as a partner, the career advisor that's working with the individual, you won't be able to edit that document, but you'll be able to view that document. So, uh, you can download the document, you can view it, and then use, let's say, for example, just use the messaging tool to send them a message to either like set up a time to go through it specifically, or say this is great, but could you beef up your work experience for a certain job. We also have, let's see here. If you're working with individuals that are going to be in an internship, work experience, apprenticeship. We have the Worksite placement tool, which allows you to enter information that's related to the employer, the work site, um, how much they're making, is it full-time, part-time, when they start and end. We have a 30, 60, 90, I think it's 180-day follow-up. So there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of information that you can use within the worksite placement module. It's a little bit, more advanced, but you can also upload payroll. So you could have, documented in the system how much the person has been paid for each of these individual work sites. So that's a tool that's available as well in WorkNet. And then the outcomes piece is really uh, tied in tight with the career plan. So if a person earns a credential, completes different steps or services, then that it goes with their outcomes page. We have success story tools. And again, that's available. You can see it through the customer support center. It's also available through, just accessing it through either the WIOA Worksite or from, Illinois WorkNet under this updates and help. You can see I have it highlighted here. But we do really encourage you to upload your success stories. For one, there's different groups that are, looking for, especially the WIOA success stories, and then especially on special projects. It's good to be able to share that information, but it's also inspirational to others who can look at a person that's in a similar situation and like, well, if they can do it, that sounds like a good thing. Maybe I can do it. So we're going to get out of this and I'm going to go directly into WorkNet. So, um, I'm already here, but let me just show you. Regardless if you're on the orange side, which is for individuals, or on the blue side, that's more for, or that is for partners, um, you should have the same dashboard link once you're logged in. You can see I'm logged in. You can see I have this bar across here. If I go to my dashboard and go to my customer support center tools, then I'll go into this side, which is the customer support center. And again, I just want to let you know that if you come in here one day and you notice the colors are a little bit different, don't worry. It's the same tools. We're just changing the look and feel. But when you go into the customer support center, you are going to have the option to set up your personal group. And so when we talk about a personal group or an invitation group, that is something that is set up specifically with your account, and it gives you access to invite people to that group so that you can view their saved results in Illinois WorkNet to be used towards helping them reach their training and employment goals. Now, if you are in another special group, let's say maybe you're with, you have access to IWDS for Title One folks. You should automatically have those people, a group, say you're with a WIA 20. You should see those people. If not, contact info@illinoisworknet.com and we can take a look at your account because maybe you have two accounts or, you know, if you're with IWDS, it'll automatically set up an account for you in Illinois WorkNet. So um, you can always just contact us and we can help, get you on the right track or get you set up using the right account. And then if you're with some other groups, maybe it's Apprenticeship Illinois or one of the DHS youth programs or Youth Career Pathways, some of these other groups that are also using Illinois WorkNet, you'll see that listing for those groups here as well. Okay, so we're going to go into my personal group. And and also there's some tools along the top here that you'll see that might look, you won't see as many of them just because I'm at a different level of access. So you may not see all these different tools, but there's additional resources along the top that you can use. Okay, so the first time I go to my personal group, I'm not going to have any customers there, of course. And so, how do you get people in the customer group? Well, you invite them. So I click on invite others, and we have an individual invitation. So you can put in, just a specific email address and invite the customer, and they will get the notification in their email and follow the steps, and they can be added to once they say yes, they agree to it, then they'll be added to the group. Or let's say that you either are going to send out a group email or maybe you have a group of people with you and you want to set up a general, um, a group. account, I guess, a group invite. I'm going to put 04/28/21. That's today's date. And we're just going to call this test for 04/80. No, 28. Yeah, I'll put dashes in. I think you can put dashes in there. I can't remember exactly. It'll tell you if you're not, if you can't. Yeah, so for the passcode, now the one thing to remember about the passcode is it's a one-time use. All this information is right here. It says personal group, instructions, overview. All these details are in that link for instructions. So you can see you set up a passcode, you set up a title, you have some basic text here. If you would like to add additional text, then that's great. We do ask that you still keep this whole bit of information about privacy and the terms and conditions. Make sure you keep that. So do create invitation. And then what it'll do is it'll set up a URL and password and give you that information so you can set up your passcode. You'll see it down here. You have a URL, passcode, and you can print the business cards, or you could just simply take, let me zoom in real quick. You can just simply take, this information, and if you wanted to put it into a group email, you could do that as well. So it has a specific URL. They're going to sign in with their account, and then they're going to enter this passcode, and that's how it knows that it goes to you. That's whose group they're signing up for. Let me go back to the normal view here. All right. Um, so then we have view customers. Once they accept it, then you would just need to refresh the page and it'd be added to your list here. And then you can use the create subgroups. Now, if you think of this, think of like your view customers as your big bucket, and your subgroups are just a way to organize people. So if you had, I have a spring semester, a fall semester, different things like that, or manufacturing versus TDL. I mean, however, whatever makes sense for your workflow, you can organize the people into subgroups. I'm going to look at Leanne Telger because that's the person we were looking at earlier. And what you'll be able to see over here is that reset password. Now that's a really important feature to be able to see and use, have access to, because when a person forgets their password, they can't remember, then it's okay. We definitely don't want you to set up a different account. We want you to reset your password. So you can click reset password and then set up a new temporary password, and you have their username, so they should have everything to log in. Again, here's the send message. You can see what other groups they're in. It doesn't mean that you can access that information from the other group, but you could say, oh, I see this person was in a DHS youth group. Then, you can see what other groups are in. You just can't access that information unless you already have access to it. When you go to the career plan, you'll see this is the Illinois WorkNet career plan, and it's set up a little bit differently. Okay, I see a question here. Can they see each other in the group? No, they cannot see each other in the group. With the career plan, a lot of this is probably looking a lot more familiar to you because we have these very same components in the customer's view. It just is laid out a little bit differently. So then you can see, remember I changed it to hospitality and tourism, and they want to be a baseball player and a camp counselor. How about that for a job? You can also see their different steps and what their plans are for the existing self-access steps that are in the system. You can review their, oh, that's not a good thing. Well, you're supposed to be able to review the assessments, so I apologize for that. This is my test person, and I didn't click on their assessments earlier. Um, you can, the view assessments essentially gives you that same view that we looked at before that was on the customer side of it. Actually, I have it still, I should have it still up. It essentially gives you this view of the different types of assessments that are available. And it would also give you the ability to add in additional assessments. So these other assessments are items that are available in WorkNet, but if you did the TABE or you did Casey Life Skills or something like that, you can add those into other assessments. Um, Based on the assessments, you can do an assessment summary and identify, basically who's doing what as far as, the customer, this is what their goals are. How is my counselor going to support me? How is my family going to support me? If I have family to be able to support me, what other supports do I need? So it's really a process of working through those different assessments, putting together the summary, and then working with the customer to identify goals. So this is where you can add in customized goal statements. So I'm just gonna type for the sake of time, and let's just say it goes with, I don't know, independent living, and this is gonna be a short-term goal, and it's not started yet. So I can add that goal, and then I can also add additional steps. So if I can see steps that are already added to a specific goal, but let's just, I don't even remember what I had put in here, but this service, you can add a step or service. We'll just pick one. Let's see here. We'll just add this. And add it to the system. I'm going to attend an after school program. I'm going to edit this. I'm going to select a goal. Here's my area, so I can put in planned due dates, how many hours has it started, and then I can put other notes in here. And so then they would be able to view that information. And I can update the information in here. I can send it as a message. So if I wanted to send a message and as a message and an email, I could send it to the customer. Or if I just wanted to save it as a case note, then I could do that as well. And then within each individual service, you can identify service providers, you can identify dollar values for each of those, and then you can identify the earned credentials. So there's a lot of information that you can actually put into this career plan that also helps to build out that outcomes page. Let's see where I'm done on time. Um, Assessments, that's that same assessment module. As I mentioned before, we reuse that assessment module and bring it into, and make it available, I should say, where it would make sense. You can see, this is an example, I could see Leanne's resume for wanting to be a singer, actress, dancer. If I had a success story, I could, click on adding a success story for this person. If this person had any work sites, they would be available. And again, that outcomes page has the different services and so forth that you can export that information. Um, Let me go back to, are there other questions as I was going to go back to some of these areas I need to take a look at? I don't know, Molly, did you know of any? Just real quick.
I don't see any that you haven't answered.
The partner staff look up username and passwords for, okay. So good question on the lookup. We don't allow people to look up our customers. You there's, if you're with, if you're with a Title I, if you're in IWDS and your customers are in IWDS, then you automatically have access to those customers. And then you would be able to look them up through the customer support center. Because the Illinois WorkNet syncs with IWDS and it syncs partner accounts as well as customer accounts. So based on that association in IWDS, that makes that relationship here in Illinois WorkNet as well. So in that case, yes, you would be able to look them up. To just randomly look up, a person, even if you knew the first name, last name, and social, we don't allow anyone to just look up our people. Um, You'd have to use the invitation process. Let's see, a new message. When partners add information, will it interfere with Illinois WorkNet caseworker notes? No. Can we do partnership? Can we do a partnership or division or local office within a state agency? Um, yes. We would have to have more of a conversation. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at a direct message. Can we do a partnership with? Yes. So we'd probably have to have more conversation around that. But we do that for, as I mentioned before, special projects, and it's set up specifically that way with the IWDS folks. Okay. Let me just go back here. I I really flew through that a lot faster than I thought I would. Are there any other items in this section that you would like to see um, specifically? Those career tools that I showed you that I said are relatively new with, how you can adjust the ranking and the job search record, I guess you could say, board. Um, those type of tools, I my proposal was that it would be, between here, the career plan and the other assessments, since these are like summary type tools. It's not here yet, but once we finish up the usability studies and make adjustments, then we can add it to that section. Yep, message. I can't get down there far enough. Okay. You can't, okay, so the question is, can you access the customer's resume and make changes? You can't make changes, but you can view this. So if you had comments, let's see what this does. I guess I could download this and it opens up in a Word document, so I could technically, you know, make changes, not to their copy, but to a copy and give them, send it back to them. Any of those changes, though, would have to be made within their optimal resume account. Okay. I need to go back to my PowerPoint so I can get my, guess what, another Miro board. So this is our next group activity. Let's see, what do you think we're going to use? Oh, I guess I should need to give it to you too. So here we go. So if yours, mine didn't come in totally focused, but if you need to move your board around, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can either go to this map view, or you can, oh, You can hold your space bar down and use the hand to like drag it back and forth. Um, when you want to take one of the sticky notes, again, remember to grab this little pointer, click on that, and you can drag your sticky note over to the appropriate question you want to answer and double click the sticky note, I believe. Is it double click? Yeah. Double click the sticky note and then you can start typing in it. If you don't want to use the board to respond to these questions or give us some feedback, that's fine. Go ahead and put that information into the chat. So the question that I had in here, I'm gonna move this like now. Oh, let's see here. Let me move this. Which tools do you think would be most helpful in with communicating and providing guidance? So you can do that. Um, and how do you see yourself integrating these tools into your current workflow or daily activities? Again, if you're not meaning to do the marking up, then just go ahead and click the little this little arrow. I don't know if you can see me pointing at it or not. But there's a little arrow over on the far left side, and that will allow you to click and drag and drop. And then again, once you get your sticky note, then you can double click in it and start typing. There's a question, can it be programmed to interface with Illinois Job Link? I, I would think that I don't remember why we haven't. I mean, we've had Illinois Job Link in for a long time. We all because we have a really, um, you know, I would say close relationship with IDES. We use a lot of their, tools. Again, not because Illinois WorkNet's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about bringing the really good resources that we have already and pulling them together, providing, another way to access the information. So um, I don't remember why we, I don't remember the details of why it's not just fully integrated. I'll bring it up again. Um, but that's good for the reminder. So let me just make sure I add that to my notepad for myself. Okay, so you can't click on the blue arrow. Um, are you using, if you're using like a tablet or, I'm kind of getting used to the Miro too. Um, up under the top part, there's a menu that has like 3 lines and it looks like a board, like you would adjust settings and stuff on there. And so if you click on that, I think there's like maybe a navigation mode. I mean, you can play with it while you're in here if you just want to kind of, get used to playing with the tool. But otherwise, feel free to just go ahead and um, put it in the chat. I think, let me just go navigation mode. It says it's for track. How to hit apply. She'll betcha. All right. Okay, so which tools do you think would be most helpful? Looks like we have assessment tools, assessments and training, assessments, customer rotation and career access. We have, or here's more, how do you see yourself integrating these tools into your current workflow, helping them with further, okay, career planning access, employment 101, so career planning, assessment tools. Alrighty. I'll go ahead and leave the screen up for just a little bit longer. Okay, good deal. Love the idea of having all my clients in a group to be able to quickly see where they're at. Yep. Yeah, similar power. Uh-huh. All right. So you guys are welcome to continue to play on that for a little bit if you want. The next steps that we have are to, go to Illinois WorkNet and request a partner account. So let me go to Illinois WorkNet over here. Let me go WorkNet page. You click on partners, goes over to the partner side, and you can click on the link to become a partner. And then there's information here on becoming a partner, create an account, add your organization, send your request. So there's information right there. Actually, I am just going to copy and put this in while I'm here, put it into the chat. And then again, take a look at the different resources on the partner guide. And I would just recommend just kind of getting familiar with the tools and using them, just so that you kind of get the feel for it yourself. You have more time to play with it. And then based on, what you're thinking, find which tools are best for your situation. Because what we've tried to do is put a variety of tools out there that are accessible in a variety of ways, so that you're just not locked into one way to do things, just because we have such a wide variety of customers in ranging from, a wide spectrum for ages, skill level, background, maybe some challenges for their situations. So again, just become familiar with the tools. Uh, I would recommend to do that beforehand, and then start inviting customers to your group so that you can provide feedback and you feel comfortable with the tools. Are there any other questions? Is this does the information transfer from Career Connect to WorkNet? So Career Connect transfers to IWDS. And so those people that are, it's always been a little bit of a challenge, um, just because the people that work with Career Connect are used to working with Career Connect, and you, from my understanding, still have an IWDS account, okay? But you may not know how to access your IWDS account because you don't use your IWDS account. You go through Career Connect. So since Career Connect populates IWDS and IWDS populates WorkNet, then yes, Career Connect does populate Illinois WorkNet. But we may have to work with you to make sure that we can get you hooked up if you don't know your IWDS account information. Okay, so you usually, okay. Can any person use WorkNet even if they're not? Yes, yes, most definitely. So all my WorkNet's available to anyone. Anyone can use it for free. And anyone, for the most part, I guess you could say, it can be an Illinois WorkNet partner. So when I say that, I'm really talking about those providers that are in Illinois that are providing services at no cost, for their individuals. So, you know, um, or, if you're, yeah, obviously community colleges, those type of things, you can have um, a be an Illinois WorkNet partner. We would encourage you to be an Illinois WorkNet partner. Um, but any of the services that we provide for free in Illinois WorkNet have to be provided for free by our partners. And most definitely, yes, resume writing, and I even have my own family using Illinois WorkNet. So, well, any other questions? All right. I can't believe I'm usually rushing to the very last second, trying to get the last few words in, but you have 3 minutes back to your day. How about that? Appreciate everyone and their activity and getting all um, busy in Miro, and I hope that was fun for you. So if you have any questions, again, just send an email to info@illinoisworknet. It's really the best way to get a hold of us because we can direct your question to the appropriate person. We have a variety of people on our staff, and some people focus more on employers, whereas others might focus on individuals, and others may focus on special projects. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Everyone have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.